Hey guys, so we are in Julian today. We are going to be heading over to the Eagle Mining Company and doing a tour with them, so stay tuned.
What they need these machines for is you have the host stone, which is the dirty quartz, the stuff you see throughout the wall, okay? That's your host stone for the gold and iron the iron is the orange leaching out, so that's iron rust from the stone itself, leaching out throughout the millions of years. Now a little bit about this machine. The dates on it do say 1872 and 73. That's because it was initially bought by a smaller mining operation first. I like to call them rookie miners. We have the road that runs east out of Julian towards the desert. It is the windiest road in North America and the shortest distance.
Larger mine in the back here. But we're here at the entrance to the Eagle mine. It was started up back in 1870 by a guy named Billy Moran. He was the mine owner here. And parked right out front, we have some of the original mining equipment these guys were using. It's the part they were using to bring the 1-ton loads of quartz rock out here to the processing equipment. And originally, our big red rock crusher you see behind the building over there was on this foundation right here. This is where it started out its days of work back in the old days. It's because of all the hard manual labor involved in this process. They wanted all the work as close together as possible. There's gold in all these rocks here on this little wall. And this is broken up by the miners back in the old days. So this is how they're breaking the rock down into to load 1 ton in that square cart over there. And this rock right here, I mean, they all have gold in them, but you can really see it in this little round rock right here. You can see a lot of gold, silver, and copper right there in the surface. They were actually mining gold, silver, and copper here because anytime you find gold, you just get other metals along with it. And this area was rich in silver and copper as well. They had to drill them by hand. And you have this flared out bit shape end on the end of this bar. They would put that up against a rock wall and a couple other workers would take turns swinging a sledgehammer on the other end until they drove these bars 4 feet in the wall every time. And this bit shape end is flared out so that the hole being bored is slightly larger than the bar, and that keeps it from binding up and getting stuck in the rock wall. And every time the end of the bar was hit with a hammer, the pole guy would just give it a quarter turn. That gave you kind of a drilling action as they went into the rock. Now when they encounter these quartz veins while digging the main tunnel through is when they start digging these side tunnels that branch off. They're basically chasing the vein of quartz through the earth. You see how that quartz rock is right there at the top of the tunnel all the way back. Now this other rock on either side of the quartz vein was just useless heavy rock to the miners back in the old days. There's nothing in this rock but a lot of iron and iron pyrite, no precious metals at all. It is responsible for bringing the gold to the surface in the first place, though. This is a sedimentary stone, that's why it has these nice stripes in it, and it's part of the ancient seafloor. With the wild geologic activity we have here in California over the last 200 million years, it's tipped large slabs of that old seafloor right up on its end. It can't handle the stresses involved doing this, so it starts to form cracks that follow these strata lines deep into the earth where the magma is. Now once the cracks open up at the bottom end down there, the magma is under tremendous pressure and will squeeze up through these cracks and make its way all the way to the surface. It was dragging precious metals with it on its way up. That's how it all got here to the surface. So 200 million years ago, most of Southern California had a lot of these fissure eruptions happening where you have long walls of lava just squirting up out of the ground, bringing all this precious gold to the surface.
As we get deeper and deeper down, what's the temperature like dropping to?
I'm not sure how the temperature range goes, but this is a natural effect of being underground. Right. So at this depth, underground, anywhere in the world is going to be the same temperature.
Oh, wow.
I know it stays cool for quite a while, but in South Africa, they have some tours there where you can tour an active mine. And those poor guys are mining up to 5 miles below the surface over there. And they're working in conditions up to 150 degrees.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So it's only up here where it's real shallow. We're only going to be going about 400 feet underground here. So it's going to stay 62 all the way through. Cool. And it stays that all year long. Syncline fold. And what we're looking at is how the slow geologic processes like to bend and fold the ground down below over the course of millions of years. Now this is all being cleaned up and put on display for us here. That work was done by the miners 150 years ago. There were really superstitious people that worked up here, and they considered it to be a good luck token for the mine anytime they would find something like this in the wall. So that's who did all this cleanup work back then. And when they found this formation, they thought it was kind of star-shaped, so of course they named it the star vein. Now, there's a lot of gold, silver, and copper in these thin veins right here. They were really after a high production for the gold mine. They were after veins of rock 10 inches thick or better. So they left all the old real thin quartz veins, and a little farther in you can see how rich in gold they are. You can see all the gold sparkling right there in the wall in little stripes. It has 11 levels of tunnel system in it. We'll be entering right here on level 6. In a few minutes, we'll be going up a little set of stairs, so we'll be going up to level 5. They number down on the way up. Now, they don't really combine gold mines together like this, but they had good reason why it happened here. Store a couple extra ore carts here and install this work table. All the repairs these miners were doing to their tools and equipment they were using for the operation, they had to do all the repairs right here inside the gold mine. And in a few minutes, when we go up to level 5, we'll be climbing a set of stairs, and the old forge is still sitting right behind the stairs at the end of the tunnel. You'll be able to see that as we go up. This hill, the town of Julian had just gotten started, so it was really difficult to get things delivered up here to the top of the mountains. These miners really had to rely a lot on their own ingenuity and creativity to make some of the things they needed for the operation, like the turntable here on the floor. So they devised this turntable right here all on their own. This is kind of like a balance table. You can swivel this and line up the tracks, park the cart on it, and then a couple workers will give it another turn and it can continue down the other tunnel. Now right behind this red gate, we have the main access shaft for the High Peak mine. This mine has 11 levels of tunnel in it. We're on level 6. They number down on the way up. All the tunnel system that's below us is only accessible through this main shaft here. And from where we're standing on the ground inside this hill, this shaft dives 425 feet straight down into the earth. That's about the height of a 26-story building. And this is the original hoist bucket right here that they were using to bring that rock up from the bottom levels and bring the workers down to do all the digging. We still have the hoist machine that was doing all that heavy lifting too, right around the corner in the hoist room. We're going there next, but on our way around the corner here, if anyone brought their own lights, you should get it out now because you can see how much gold is still left behind in the mountain right here in the walls. There was lifting that heavy bucket from the lower levels of the mine. Originally, there was 4 of these large wood beams over the access shaft, and they supported the pulley system that the spool of cable looped through to bring that bucket straight up the access shaft. Now, this hoist machine is a 10 horsepower machine that ran on pretty much any flammable liquid. And the last time they fired this thing up was back in 1934, and it ran on Applejack whiskey.
Oh my gosh.
Now, to communicate the instructions from the lower levels of the mine to the hoist operator up here, every mine level below us has one of these brass bells, and they ring those in a series of rings for the commands on the list right here. And this was a standardized bell system for mining back in the 1870s throughout California, and they still use it in some mines today. And back then they really built things to last. The bell still works on the smoke pipe here. If anybody wants to hear what it sounds like, just pull on this wire.
Want to pull on it? You sure? Go ahead, do the first pull. Yeah, do it. Cool.
Okay, good. It's not too loud. Well, anyone that wants to give the bell a ring, go ahead. It's time to go up to level 5. But what I'd like you to notice is the miner's wife that's standing out front in the white dress. Every day towards the end of the 12-hour shift, all the miners' wives would show up and form a line right there in front of the building and wait for their husbands to come up out of the ground. Do you think it's because they missed them all day? That's the reaction I usually get. Now, miners got paid $5 a day back then, and they got paid on a daily basis, so of course their wives would show up to collect that daily pay before they brought it down to the saloon. I know the $5 a day doesn't sound like much, but if you convert that 1870s $5 a day to today's economy, it's like 3 times minimum wage. Wow. So these guys were making an equivalent of around $30 an hour. Everybody ready?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Now, it takes a human eye 10 minutes to fully adjust, but it doesn't get a lot brighter than this. That's why they would find whatever they could use for those reflector dishes on their hats. And if this is your only light and you're walking down here in the mine and you trip over that pesky minecart track, you're left in total darkness.
So we are currently on level 5 of the mine of the second gold mine. And we have about 150 more feet to go. But each one of these tunnels is averaging about 5 feet, because that's about how tall the people were. I'm 5'8", so if you can see me, I'm crouching down and squatting a little bit. But there's the end of the tunnel right there. That was not 150 feet. That felt like shorter. But I'm not echoing anymore, so we're coming to the end.
Troughs. What you want to do is you want to scrape off the very bottom. You want to hear that plastic on metal scraping sound, because gold's heavy, it stinks, of course. It should be in the bottom of here, and it is, trust me. Now, first thing I do, a pan full, I just go ahead and wash it down. I have it flat in here. I'm washing it down. What's happening, the gold that's in here will be stinking further and further down in my pan. Now, kind of longer the better. I will tell you guys, when you go to do your first pan load, if it takes you 5 minutes, that's perfect, okay? Now, the ridges in here, if you notice, they make up a half moon, right? So I line up my thumb to the center of the half moon. You're gonna do it two-handed, just the opposite of 10 and 2 on the other side, okay? And pan in the water ridges away, I'm gonna do a very gentle circular motion, just like so. If you start washing your shoes, you're doing it way too hard, okay? Every time I get about halfway through, I wash it back down again. Just like so. And again, it takes patience. If you don't find any the first time around, there's just a couple of flakes. It's okay, just chalk it up to being a beginner. What I'm doing now is I'm vibrating it, and what should be happening is you have the crevice in the pan right here. The gold should be sinking down in there. And everyone does the separation a little differently. Some people do a side tap and it'll leave a tail. I haven't mastered that one. So I find that for myself and beginners, it's easier just to do a simple backwash. So what I'm gonna do is I have water at the bottom, material at the top. I'm gonna very gently roll it over just once, like so. And that large stuff kicked to the bottom. Now, as you do this, you wanna do it very gently, but your soil should start getting finer and darker. The darker is gonna be the iron. Like I explained, you always find that with gold in this area. And the finer, and I can already see gold. Just like that. So you never wanna touch the material with your hands, but you can see it right there again. Okay, for that reason, or the water at least as possible. Now, a simple field test miners do to ensure that it's real gold, not fool's gold, is if you shade the pan, gold keeps its natural luster in the shade. Iron pyrite, fool's gold needs the sun's reflection. So if you're at the beach or in the desert and you think it's gold, go ahead and shade it 99.9% of the time. It will disappear. If it doesn't, I suggest having your eyes checked. Okay. The gold in here is real, so it's for demonstration only. You guys do get to pan for gold, but it is catch and release. I'm sorry.
How's it going with?
Just let me know when you come back out. Probably an hour and a half. Okay, you're cool. Yeah. There it is.
Penny for time.
I got a little.
So I was doing this and I just got some gold. You can see it. All those flakes right there. That's the gold that I got. Super excited. That was my first pan and I got all that gold. How much did you get, Liz?
You can see a little bit.
Let's see.
A little.
No. Wait, put it in
This
the
is my phone.
Oh wow. Put it in the sun though.
Did you try to fix that bag in the women's bathroom so that
A little bit.
Yeah, you got some.
But it's all down under there. I just gotta.
Yep, there's all my golds.
Look, there's more.
You got more in your little divot. I got
In your
in your little divot. How exciting. Oh wait, we're supposed to backwash. Yep. Wait, I'm gonna pour the water out. And you can see all the gold that I got in there.
The same.
There we go. First pan for gold, I got some. And we're supposed to leave it in here because we can't take it out. That was super exciting.
Oh, look.
There it goes, back in there. Okay. That was us panning for gold.